Hey, football fans, this is Anita Marks. Make sure you check out this week's Behind the Bets podcast with myself and Doug Kazarian. We go through the best plays of the weekend in college football and in the NFL with our experts Rufus Peabody and Phil Steele.
Welcome into what is the final ESPN FC of the week. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Ali Moreno, and a very happy Paul Mariner, and a very sad Stephen Nicol. That's just in general. Gav Marcotti is with us as well. Of course, we start with England's 3-0 victory against Scotland. Should we start with the Scotsman or the Englishman, Ali? Who would you most like to hear from first?
Good news or bad news? What do you want first?
I'm going to go with the Scotsman.
Okay.
You know, leading up to this game, every single person, particularly pundits, particularly former players,
So you?
felt that Scotland were going to lose this game. But of course, the closer you get, the more you think, you know what, the brave heart and the fight and the desire, the underdog can come through.
The bagpipes.
Well, you know what? There was never any of that. I mean, Scotland
Although
really...
people are suggesting that Scotland were the better team for an hour.
I'm sorry. I mean, did Joe Hart have any saves to make? I mean, he threw his cap on us on one shot, I remember, but that was about it. Let's be honest. And people are saying that the 3-0 scoreline for England doesn't tell the story of how close this game was. Well, I'll tell you what, if you've been sitting on the seat I was sitting on watching this game, Scotland were well beaten. There was no way Scotland deserved to get in and out of this. And in the end, they were lucky it was only 3. This was a horrible performance from Scotland.
I think the thing that I noticed about Scotland, look, we all expect, I think most people thought that England would win this game, but there was no fight in the team, Stevie. Absolutely zero fight. Nobody putting their foot in, getting their bodies on an England player. It was all too simple. They were standing off the English players, and even the England team tried to build from the back, and even doing that, they were still poor. It was quite remarkable watching the game. When you think about how historic this game is and the passion that has gone into the previous encounters, it was nothing. When you look at some of the Combo Bowl games from yesterday, I mean, that's football. This today wasn't. It was almost embarrassing watching it.
And the history of this game is not always about what happened on the field. There have been games between Scotland and England that haven't been that good as a spectacle. But normally, what happens on the terrace between the fans makes up for anything that might not be happening on the field in terms of passion, singing, getting involved in the game from the first minute to the last. There was no atmosphere throughout this game. And that was as sad as it was on the field.
Did you have any enjoyment watching this game, Ali?
No, but I don't know what we were expecting. This is one average team in England against a very poor team in Scotland. So you put those together, mix them up, add a little water, and what you get is what we saw. It's just a match where there are limitations in terms of talent, and the ceiling for both of these teams are substantially low.
Any positives? Well, 3 points are a positive. England are going to qualify easily for the World Cup. Let's try and be a little optimistic.
Well, Sturridge scored.
Yes.
I thought that the 2 fullbacks, I thought they covered themselves in a little bit of glory. Lallana was okay. After that, I don't think anybody came up to it. And they were close.
Where do you stand on Rooney?
Anonymous again for me. He whipped a great ball in for Cahill's goal for the corner. But later on in the game, Dan, he's picking the ball on the half wheel. And in actual fact, he got a yellow card for having to clip somebody down because of poor play by him. Rooney has got to play. If he's going to be effective for Manchester United or England, he's got to play in that attacking third. And it seems as though, as we've been saying for quite some time, that he's not capable of doing that.
But he's your captain. Forever your captain.
Forever.
I don't think forever.
Divine right, apparently.
Gav Marcotti is with us. Gav, did you enjoy this game more than the boys did?
I pretty much always enjoy football matches. Some you enjoy more, some you enjoy less. I actually thought this was a pretty grown-up performance from England because I bought into what Stevie was saying earlier. As the game gets closer, I thought, well, maybe some Braveheart stuff, maybe, Southgate looking like a deer in headlights. We saw in their last home game, they struggled to break down the opposition. The nerves get to them. But that never happened. I mean, I think England were strong enough to go ride it out, get their goals, and job done.
Now, people are asking now, well, some people are saying that Strachan has to go. Does it make a difference who the coach is? Does he deserve to go?
I don't believe that it makes a difference who the coach is. I don't think any coach is going to get an awful lot more out of this Scotland team because they're just not that good. You know, technically, they're not good enough. They don't play at a high enough level week in and week out that they're going to get any better, any of them. So, no, I don't think the coach makes a difference. Having said that, I would not be surprised if Gordon Strachan sits down and thinks, am I better off walking away? Because they didn't quite make it in the Euros. They thought they were close. And in such a short period of time from that to the qualifying for the World Cup, they are miles away. What possible good can Gordon Strachan get out of winning some games between now and the end of this qualification? Because they're not going to qualify. And if they win some games, people are going to say, well, it's too late.
Right, his bank account.
But if they don't win games, people are just going to pile on game after game, performance after performance, and it's going to turn into an absolute farce every time a squad's picked and a team plays.
Can't wait to watch.
Gab, are you going to stick up for Strachan?
Well, no, I was just going to stick up for Scotland a tiny bit in the sense that in a game like this, Strachan felt that he had to go for his veterans and dust off Scott Brown and whatnot. And that's fine because you're still in there. But there are some decent young players for Scotland. Some of them weren't there. Obviously, Robertson missing through injury. Burke is a guy who, whether he's good or not, Red Bull's paid a lot of money for him, and he looks promising. Maybe you start thinking of the next cycle, once you're mathematically eliminated, and you give those guys a free run.
Gab, those players already played in this qualifying. And Scotland were lucky to get a draw at home against Lithuania and got absolutely smashed against Slovakia away from home with these players that you're talking about. I'm really talking about Gordon resigning just because I think it'll help the whole Scotland situation, because the longer he stays, the more games they struggle in, the more the whole house will cave in, and every time a game comes round, there'll be sour grapes all over the place. Get a new face in and try and build something else.
Gab just stifling a yawn when you were saying, we all saw it, Gab, don't worry.
He was excited about your response.
That's what you get for talking about Scotland for so long. Meanwhile, Gareth Southgate is still interim coach, isn't he?
Yep.
Should he get the job permanently? John Barnes says that I don't know why I'm pointing. You're obviously not John Barnes, but he's to play with John Barnes. Basically, he's saying that Glenn Hoddle should be given the job.
Yeah, well, Glenn had a goal before. I'm not quite sure if Glenn would either want it, but I think with Southgate, everybody's saying that he should get the job. I think you've got to just calm down a little bit. Look, this is a fairly easy qualifying cycle.
So you don't want Southgate?
Not yet, I don't.
Who do you want?
I'm going to wait and see.
Wait and see? It was under the table.
Give it a little bit more time.
Because you wouldn't have Hoddle.
Again, pardon?
You wouldn't have Hoddle.
No, I don't think I would, no. But because...
Who's the alternative?
Well, people are talking about Eddie Howe, but I think it may be a little bit early for Eddie Howe. It's a difficult situation because there's not that many managers that are capable of turning up and doing the job.
Someone just told me that can't be true, that Redknapp wants Tim Sherwood. Gab?
No, I was going to say, Paul, what I don't understand is if this qualifying group's so easy and England are already qualified, you can sit and wait and see with Southgate, but you're not going to learn anything, are you? I mean, the only way you're really going to learn is if England actually qualify, and then you find out whether Southgate's any good or not. Or so I think in some ways,
if he's up against Spain, if he's up against Spain this week, that's going to be a tougher test. Look, he plays 4-2-3-1 today against Scotland, who are absolutely dreadful. So why doesn't he just change his tactics a little bit? The game was over. Get some players on so we can have a look at some players. What is he going to do against Spain in the week? Let's find out.
Well, who cares? It's a friendly, though. I mean, you're not going to learn anything from Spain. Spain, half of Spain's defence is out.
Do you honestly think in England that there's such a thing as a friendly in England? You get scrutinised by every single newspaper and every media outlet that there possibly is. No friendlies, mate.
But but that doesn't make it right. I mean, just
that's
because
a fact. That's
in
a
this
fact
country where I am, England.
If he goes out there and gets absolutely
I know, but Paul,
against Spain. Yes,
that's fine. That's fine. And if he loses 4-0, he will. But I think Dan asked you why you were giving him more time, why you want to give him more time. You're not going to learn anything real and concrete, I think, about Southgate from the Spain game. So, I think the question is you either commit or you don't commit. I don't understand this need of stretching it out and having them go.
Do you commit to an interim coach who's already said, I need to go away, I need to assess, I'm not quite sure yet? That's what he said tonight after the game.
If that's the bet,
is he committed? Is he committed? That. It looks as though he might want to go back to the under-20.
Why on earth would you want to do that?
I've got no idea. I'm not Gareth Southgate. I don't know. I don't know why he would come out. He just said that he thought that England played unbelievable football tonight.
I'd like to go back to under-21s. What's going on over there?
This was exciting.
Right.
Hey, and by the way, England won today.
Okay. Hey! Right. Gab, have a nap, because after the break, we'll be talking about Argentina's 3-0 loss against Brazil. Ricky Ortiz will be with us to break it down.
This is Larry Culpepper, and if you love college football as much as I do, enough to invent the playoff, you're welcome. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to the Championship Drive podcast in the Listen tab of your ESPN app. App is short for app.
Welcome back. Brazil sit top then of CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying after a sensational 3-0 victory over Argentina last night. The whole of the footballing world, of course, talking about that result. We welcome in our ESPN Deportes colleague, Ricky Ortiz. Ricky, I feel like you're the Grim Reaper of Argentinian football, because the only time we ever have you on the show is when something bad happens.
Yeah.
And it was really bad last night.
It was really bad. It's a pleasure to be with you guys, no matter what the circumstances are.
What happened?
Well, it's all about the coach. It's all about the manager. If you look at it, he only collected 5 points of the last 15. We have to keep in consideration that he was called in to manage this team when Messi was on retirement. Mm-hmm. So Messi really didn't have any input or anybody else. Argentina's still a mess. They don't have a president. They still don't know where they're going. Players are not getting paid. This coach signed a contract without knowing how much he was going to make. It was all done fast without really thinking, and now they have somebody with no experience. On the other side, you look at Brazil. Tite got the team at the same time, and he has won all 5 games. When they were with Dunga, they were as bad or worse than Argentina, and he turned it around because they had the players. Argentina has the players, but he's just not making them play well. He's changing the system constantly. Messi is alone all the time. Nobody knows where he's supposed to stand on the field. Higuain plays extremely well in Europe. He does not have a shot on goal. Agüero is phenomenal in Manchester City. He's a sub, and then when he comes in, he doesn't know if he's on the right, he's on the left, he's on the middle. He plays Perez on the right, which he said he never in his life pretty much played in that position, but he still put him in there. And all these things, you add them up, and this is what happens. It was 3-0, it could have been 6, it could have been 7.
I understand the coach's input, but surely at some stage the players have to take some responsibility for this performance, because it seemed like once Coutinho opened the scoring, everyone just went, right, that's it.
And that's, if I'm an Argentina fan, that's where I have a problem. You can lose to Brazil in Brazil. It happens. It happens. Brazil is a good team. They have a lot of talented players. But where was the reaction from Argentina? Where is the personality of a team? Where is the character? Where is the temperament? Where is the soul of a national team that needs points, that goes into Brazil, a rivalry game, and they quit? They stopped playing. Neymar was running circles around people.
Yeah.
It was one of those where you're thinking, hold on a second. This is not the Argentina I know. This is not the Argentina I played against. Where is the fight? There was no personality, and there are no leaders in that team, by the way. Messi is the only one that came out and actually spoke about some of the things that they did or didn't do. But when it comes to on the field, nastiness, competitiveness, there was none of that from Argentina.
Is there a possibility that they won't qualify for the World Cup?
I find that very difficult. It's still up to them. It's still very close in the standing.
Yep.
You know, they win 2 games and everything forgets about it.
This is their remaining
2 or 3 results. Colombia, Chile, Bolivia, Venezuela, Peru, even Ecuador. But, everything, you have to be careful with everything. But the thing is, it's just with the players they have, with one minor change, with one win, they get into the groove again. You know, psychologically, I think this team is destroyed after the 3 finals that they lost, and on top of that, they've been bombarded from the Argentinian media and the fans who call them all kinds of names when they play at home. That's why they're not playing in Buenos Aires. They're going to Mendoza. Now they're playing in San Juan, which is like 1,000 kilometers north of Buenos Aires, and that's supposed to be a more friendly towns, but they're still all over them. And it's bad. But look, you look at Messi the other day, he played against Sevilla, one of the best second halves he had in the last 10 years. You know, less than a week later, you can't even find him on the field. You see, the problem is not Messi in this case. Messi, the way you have to make him play is make him feel good. Give him the ball 100 times in a row. Let him touch it at least once. Let him get that confidence. Messi is the best player in the world. Once he sees that opening, that's all he needs. But when you give him the ball and you cross your arms and everybody runs away from him, he can't do it alone from midfield. He doesn't have the players, he doesn't have somebody to associate with like he has in Barcelona. So you have to play with Messi like he has to play, like he wants to play. Why? Because he's had his prime and he's the best player in the world, and you're doing what he wants. They're not doing that for him. So the problem is the whole structure around this Argentinian team, that it's been a mess since they lost to Chile on penalties in the last Copa America.
To your point, Ricky, Messi gets the ball. And you can see, if you're watching the game carefully, you can see that there's a space for the ball to be played. He's waiting for the run to come from players, and there are players on that team, from the Argentina national team, that are hiding, that they don't want any part of this, that they don't want the ball in tight spaces. Higuain, the guy scores goals for fun everywhere else. Comes to Argentina, I don't want that ball. I don't want the ball on my feet. Angel Di Maria running around like crazy with PSG. With Argentina, he's running around like crazy, but doesn't get involved in the game and doesn't produce anything going forward. I would be more concerned, rather than just the performance of Messi or the performance of the national team as a whole, of the personalities of those players, because those players don't change. This is it. It's not like they got another batch of players that are coming in. No, these are your guys. These are on paper, your best players. And yet they got humiliated and they got destroyed by Brazil. Brazil was impressive, but Argentina, my goodness.
Those players, though, will still be at the World Cup, won't they?
Yes, having said all that, because not necessarily because of what they do, but all the teams around Argentina, they're struggling to get points. So it's not like anybody's running away. They're all close within each other, and Argentina should be able to qualify, yes.
Ricky, as always, thank you very much. We'll speak, I imagine, when you lose to Venezuela.
Yes, sir. September 5th.
I will be here.
With a lot more on what happened last night in South American qualifying, go over to ESPNFC.com and check out Tim Vickery's column. Welcome back. France with a 2-1 laboured victory, I think it's fair to say, over Sweden. Puts them top of the group in their World Cup qualifying. Netherlands still yet to play. However, they are, as it stands, 6 points adrift. Gal Marcotti, let's talk, shall we, about Chris Smalling and his mysterious broken toe. Because a newspaper in England reporting that he had the injury. Manchester United kind of denying that he had it, but kind of alluding that he wouldn't be out for a month. What's going on?
Well, this is just the way United decide to handle their media. Obviously, the backstory to that is the report says that Smalling's toe is broken and is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and that's on the back of course, Jose Mourinho suggesting that Smalling had some sort of pain in his toe, and that's why he couldn't play. United have come out and said, well, we don't comment on speculation, but that story's not true. But they don't tell you, of course, hopefully, which part of the story isn't true. Does he not have a broken toe? Will he not be out for 4 to 6 weeks? Who knows? Some clubs have a policy of just sort of revealing exactly and even very medically in a very boring way what the injury is. And then it's that people can speculate about when they're going to come back. Others go and do this sort of hocus pocus. I really don't understand what benefit it serves. I would assume his toe is either broken or it's not broken. It can't really exist in 2 states at once. It's not Schrodinger's cat.
A broken toe is a serious injury?
You can't play with a broken toe.
But Jose Mourinho said you should be able to play through the pain. That's what he was suggesting, wasn't he?
No.
Well, if he really thinks that you can play through the pain of a broken toe, then he has no idea what a broken toe feels like.
So how misguided, given that information, were his comments after that victory against Swansea about Smalling?
Totally misguided. Look, I just heard what Gab was saying about policy. I think it's time that Manchester United just shut up shop a little bit and just said, look, he's injured, we're not quite sure how long he's going to be, that's it. Because it just seems that Jose doesn't seem to be in touch with his medical team at all, because he wouldn't make those comments and throw Chris Smalling under the bus, as he's been doing with his players recently. It's not doing anybody any good.
It's incredibly disrespectful for Chris Smalling. If you're a professional and you know you have an injury and it's a broken toe and then your manager says what he says, then I think you create a divide between you as the manager and the players that those sort of divides don't get repaired very easily. Because this sort of things don't only affect Chris Smalling. The next guy sitting next to Chris Smalling is saying, hold on a second, he's doing it to him, happens to me, I'm just as likely to get it from Jose Mourinho. Do I trust that guy? Mm-hmm. And this team, if we were getting results, then you would think, it doesn't matter. You can just kind of shove this and sweep it under the rug. But it's not getting results. And so all these things come to the forefront as reasons as to why the team looks disjointed on the field.
We are almost, what are we, 6 weeks away now from the transfer window opening in January? How exciting. We'll, of course, have you come. Stuart Robson.
What?
What's he doing there? Talking about Arsenal. It can only be complimentary. Check it out over on the website.
Hey, basketball fans, I'm Cassidy Hubbard. On the latest NBA Lockdown podcast, me and Amin El Hassan, along with producer Josh, discuss, is James Harden the real MVP this season? Are you a believer in him? Download the podcast.
Welcome back. Time for Best of the Week. Now, in the past, we haven't been very nice to International Week.
Or John Champion.
Or John Champion, indeed. Observant people will notice that we've all got the same 4 teams.
I wouldn't rule Spurs out of it.
Well, you have.
No, I haven't ruled them out.
Well, they're not your top 4. They are ruled out.
According to the graphic, you ruled them out.
Having been at Stamford Bridge the day that they marmalised Manchester United.
They did what?
Is that coming from marmalade?
Yes, it can be.
How do you make marmalade?
Well, you sort of marmalise oranges.
Do you have marmalade in Venezuela, Ali?
Well, yes, but I've never been marmalized. You should have seen this guy, the Cheesecake Factory. My goodness.
What did you go for?
Well, cheesecake, surprisingly.
Oh, my God. What flavour?
Strawberry.
Low-carb cheesecake with Splenda.
Low carb? Yeah. Low carb? Yeah. Organic? You've gone. You've changed.
Hey. What does Scotland have to do to shock England?
Yeah, me and Craig's going to get jobs as waiters the night before, and we can go round with a room service.
What, you're in a motorbike? Room service?
How do you feel going into this game?
I don't sit here with my Scottish, my tartan goggles on. You know, I can see the bigger picture.
So if you have all the players lined up against the wall, who are you picking first for your team?
I'll tell you who the best player is in his position is De Gea.
So that's who you would pick first?
Yeah,
I want to focus in on Mesut Ozil. Gab, defend your choice.
You probably watched every Arsenal goal last season. You know that most of the time it's actually a difficult pass.
Sid, you forgot Sergio Aguero?
The last time I saw Man City play, Sergio Aguero was sitting on the bench at the Camp Nou, so he can't be that good, can he? Keep digging, Sid, keep digging.
Arsene calls, gets on the phone to the Chilean National Federation and goes, yeah, okay, Arsene, yeah, sure, we understand. Arsene said we're not going to play Alexis.
And then he's like, hello. No way anybody can question this top 10.
What are the criteria?
Good question.
I look at form, I look at competition, and then I put it into my special mixer.
That's where your expertise comes in, is it?
And that's where you make it all up. That's where you make it all up.
20 marmalades. So what's that? That is it.
Oh, that's it.
It's been an eventful week. How are you, Paul?
Very good after today.
I think that's funny.
Very funny.
Paul Mariner, thank you very much. Steve Nicol.
Besides the split.
Venezuela won 5-0. Can we say that? Vamos, Venezuela!
No one asked that.
All right.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye. Hello. Welcome to Extra Time.
Hello. Well, that was a nice hello.
Well, I was in a hello mood. How excited was Ali about Venezuela's 5-0 win? Ali, how excited?
Who did they beat? Was it Brazil?
Bolivia.
Argentina?
Bolivia, and we'll take it.
Who got the hat-trick?
Joseph Martinez.
The first ever player to have a hat-trick for Venezuela.
Correct, because I sure didn't.
Oh.
Hey, Vamos, Venezuela! I was so excited.
What does that mean? Nothing.
Well, it means we're not last place. We'll take it.
Oh, there you are.
We're moving up, baby. We're moving up.
You got your sights well set high.
Hey.
Who'd win between Venezuela and Scotland?
Right now?
Right now.
Solid. Vamos, Venezuela!
Well, they would take us to altitude, so we'd have nature.
Okay.
Come on now. Hey, Argentina's coming this way, Venezuela's going that way, you know.
We'll play in the snow in Scotland. Oh,
we won't do well there.
No. There you go.
Great.
Take that.
Okay, Stevie. All right. Whatever you need to feel good. Okay.
I'm not bothered. I don't care.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I couldn't care less.
Send me an email.
All right, I'll send you an email.
Okay, right. Next tweet. Oh, there it is. Is Pulisic headed to Liverpool?
No.
Why?
Why would, if you're Borussia Dortmund, unless Liverpool turn around and give you a ridiculous fee, why are you letting Pulisic go? 2, Liverpool don't give ridiculous fees. Liverpool, actually, up until now.
Stephen, would you like him to be on the
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
All right.
I appreciate you backing me up, but I can fight my own battle.
Go ahead.
Who owned the club when Carroll came?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. Oh, you don't know. Yeah, you will.
Well, what difference does it make?
Well, because
You
the
make the
policy of the
general-
new owners is not to go and spend crazy money. The policy of the new owners, in case you haven't noticed, is to be smart in the transfer market, buy at sensible prices,
you hit a button
and
there.
then make a fortune, a la Mr. Suarez.
Just pay lots of money for Southampton players who don't turn up.
He's coming over the table.
Oh, sorry. So Lallana's not having a sensational season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's he starting?
Yeah. Hold on a
in
second.
the past.
Wow.
Oh, we're going to the past now. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Manny.
We're not allowed to go to the
Manny
back.
then.
Sorry?
What about Manny? He's having a sensational season.
He's having a
he's
great
another Southampton player.
Great season.
Yeah.
Lovren?
Fantastic.
Lovren? How have you described Lovren in the past?
Oh, so you're going to pull one player out? Right. So all those. So I've thrown 2, and because you've thrown 1, you think you're going to win this
Balotelli?
Are you getting help with this players, by the way?
Tell you what, Balotelli never played a game.
What, you still paid him money?
Oh, sorry, we paid, what, 2 million?
16 million, wasn't it?
Ridiculous
16
amount.
million?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was 16, wasn't
How
it?
do you know it was 16?
Because
You read it in the papers.
It must be true. How do you know it was 2? Have you got the
must be
receipt?
true.
How do you know it's 2?
How do you know it's 16?
How do you know it's 2?
How do you know it's 16?
How do you know it's 2?
How do you know it's 16?
Last question, apparently.
So do you want Pulisic?
Why not?
So is Pulisic going or not?
Hold on, Firmino.
Firmino?
Yeah, that was a rotten piece of
Here we
business.
go.
as well.
We're still going. We're still going.
That was a terrible
Don't
piece
ask
of
him
business.
about Liverpool. again.
Henderson, that was
Who
a
was the
horrible piece
laser
of-
guy? Laser...
Huh?
Markovic.
Laser.
How much you pay for him?
Hey, it's 6-2, by the way.
6-2?
You've thrown 2 names at me.
I've lost,
I'm 6
I've lost the
ahead.
first set. Why the hype over John Stones? The reality is the art of defending is lost on him.
Oh.
I would suggest that at this present time, he's still gaining experience as far as defending is concerned.
And playing
As a
out of the
football
back.
player,
And playing out of the back as well.
You know, it's
He's picked it up a little bit, though, recently.
you cannot.
Yes.
You cannot all of a sudden step on the field and be the finished article. You have to go through problems and stages. And John Stones is doing that, but I would still say that he's one of the better centre-backs in the Premier League.
Don't get mad at me.
Come on, I don't feel we've heard enough from you, but we've got to go.
Don't worry about it. You touched the Liverpool button.
Okay. Wow. ESPN FC. Balotelli was 16 million, apparently. Markovic 20. ESPN midnight. ESPN
We'll
2.
go back to the papers now, will we?
Red Hot USC heads to Seattle to face 4th-ranked Washington.
Far left side of the field for the end zone. Jump ball, Darius Rogers. Touchdown, USC.
Coverage begins Saturday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.